What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the numbers and welcome to Best Bet for UFC 311. We have Islam Makhachev going against Renato Moicano, a card that has completely changed around the last 24 hours. We lost Arman Tsarukyan versus Makhachev. Moicano stepping in to face Islam. Therefore, we lost Beneil Dariush versus Moicano. Early on in the week, we lost SD Numas. We lost Johnny Walker last week. So, yeah, this card has certainly taken some hits. But, yeah, definitely still looking forward to it. The first pay-per-view card of 2025, and it is Evan's debut on Best Bet. Evan, what is up? Are you looking forward to kicking off the Best Bet here for you?
Absolutely, man. Brady, thank you for having me on. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. UFC 311 kicks off in a couple hours, and it's a crazy card, man. Last-minute shakeup. You know, we were talking a little bit before the show about how we lost a lot of in real-life action as a result of this shakeup. But I'm excited to get into the Best Bet, format, and first-timer here, so hoping to, put on a good show.
Yep, looking forward to it. Before we get into it, if you guys could like the video, subscribe to the channel. We go live every Saturday, 2 hours prior to the prelims. Last week we had Gordo on. This week we have Evan on. And then we have, I think, a week off, and then we're right back at it then. So, yeah, what is up, everybody in the chat? We got Al the Pal. Let's go. We got Ver in the building. Let's go. Forrest in the chat. Brady, always make my day. Appreciate you, Forrest. Thank you for stopping by. Xavier, we got Malone, we got Steiny, we got Justin, we got Non-Addictive. What is up, guys? Hopefully you guys are ready for some fights. Should be a fun card. We got Malachi, we got Tyler, we got Ucelis, we got Justin with the $9.99. Appreciate you, Justin. Thank you so much. Shout out to Justin there. And yes, and win Justin. Yeah, win Justin for sure. Shout out to Justin. We got Nick. What is up? All right, guys, we have 13 fights to go through here, which means we each will get 3 passes. I know I went last week. I'm going to go this week as well because I wasn't able to get enough guys on for today. But, yeah, 13 fights. We get 3 passes, 10 bets total, 1 bet on each fight. And we're going to kick it off with Tagir Ulanbekov going against Clayton Carpenter. Tagir Ulanbekov minus 240. Clayton Carpenter sitting at plus 280. Looks like the parlay boys coming through today. Tagir, this is the widest he's been all week. And I'll kick this one off. Yeah, nothing I love here, but what I'm going to go with is just the Tagir Ulanbekov to win this fight by decision at minus 110. I think it's a good way to get this price tag down a little bit. I think that Tagir is just going to be a little bit better wherever this fight goes. One thing I did want to see for Tagir was him on the weigh-ins, because last time he was supposed to fight against Joshua Van. He looked absolutely awful, so bad the fight had to get called off. The weight cut is obviously gruesome for him, but yeah, he weighed in. I thought he looked fine, so I think he should go out there and win the fight, but I think he wins it by decision. I think Carpenter's a tough dude. Carpenter, I believe, is a black belt in BJJ, so I don't think Tagir is going to sub him that easily. So yeah, give me Tagir by decision to kick off the card. Evan, what are you doing for the first fight of the night?
I hate to do it, but Brady, I'm going to take the exact same play. I like Tagir. I think he does have him covered here. I think it's a big step up in competition for Clayton Carpenter. I think Carpenter is going to win some fights in the UFC, but I think he's a little green right now. He is a good grappler, and Tagir is not a guy who's going to knock many guys out. And I don't really think the sub is super live. So I think Tagir wins this fight by decision. I think there's a little bit of value on that line. The money line's a little out of hand. So again, I think, trying to get a better number, playing him by decision. He's 6-2 in his career in decisions. I don't know that he gets a sub here. And so I just think decision's the way I would play it. So I'll definitely ride with you on that one.
All right. We are both liking the Tagir by decision. I like it. We got T-Car saying, let's go. Devin saying, let's go. Any confidence in the dog here? No, I like Carpenter as a prospect. I think this guy is good. I think he's going to win some fights, but it just seems like a tough matchup for him. I don't know who his manager is, but I kind of like the whole, go out there and beat Lucas Rocha, Juan Camilo Ronderos. I thought, those were some really, really good fights for him, but now he's going from those bums to Tagir Ulanbekov, who's just really good. So I like Carpenter as a fighter, but I just don't really love him in this matchup. We got Glenbot in the building. Good to see you. Don't be surprised. Yeah, that's the one worry for me, Jacob, if Tagir does get a finish, because he does have those long arms, can maybe lock something up, but I'm hoping Carpenter can hang in there for 15 minutes there. Carpenter by round 3 sub. I hope not. Hopefully the Tagir's cardio holds up over 15. Don't hate the Carpenter finish only at plus 300. It's a big number. Big number. We got Andrew saying, let's go. What is up, Andrew? All right. Let's move on to this next fight then. We have Bernardo Sopaj going against Ricky Turcios, another big favorite here. Bernardo Sopaj is currently sitting as a minus 275 favorite, and Ricky Turcios sitting at plus 235. Evan, what are you doing for this fight here?
So this is an interesting fight. I hate Ricky Turcios. It's, the biggest bet I've ever placed in my entire life was on Ricky Turcios to beat Amin Zahabi at like minus 170, closed like minus 220. That was the most embarrassing fight with the amount of money I had staked on it. Like I'll never be able to root for this guy. And that's totally a me problem. It's nothing personal against him, but Jesus, that was rough. So now he's fighting Bernardo Sopaj. I like Bernardo Sopaj. I was super, super, super impressed with Sopaj in his UFC debut on super short notice. Phenomenal athlete, really strong takedowns, good boxing, throws in combinations, sits down in the pocket. There's a lot to like about Sopaj, and I like him in this fight. So how I'm going to play this one is, I'm looking at numbers right now. Sopaj by knockout is what I want to do. Trying to find. Do you have a number on that?
Yeah, let me take a look. Sopaj by knockout, the best price I see on it is plus 380 on FanDuel.
Okay. Because I was, mulling over that, or just ends inside the distance at like plus 140. I'll take that though. I'll take Sopaj by knockout for my bet. You said plus, what was it?
380. Yep.
380. I think that, all right. So Ricky Turcios has only been knocked out once in his career, a long time ago by Mana Martinez, but he's been hurt. He's been hurt a bunch. I've seen him hurt a lot. I don't think he likes getting hit. I mean, Boston Salmon was hurting him on the Contender Series. And again, in that Amin Zahabi fight, he would just never commit to offense because he was so worried about getting touched on the counter. So I think he's going to get hit and hit hard early in this fight. He came out like a bat out of hell against Raul Rosas. I think if he comes out like that again, like super rabies, I think he's going to run into something and get knocked out. So give me Sopaj by knockout.
Yeah, that's a good point. He did come out like he was on rabies in that Raul Rosas fight. So if he does that, there is a chance he gets finished. For me, I'm going to use up my first pass on this one, and I'm right there with you. I love Sopaj. I like him in this matchup. My problem is I'm just not sure what method he gets it done. I'm confident he wins, but does he win by decision? Is Ricky tough enough to hang in there? Does he get that knockout? Does he get a sub? I'm not entirely sure. So I'm just going to pass on this one, but I fully expect Sopaj to go out there and get the job done one way or another. Don't hate him as a potential parlay piece if you guys are doing parlays there. What is up, David? Good to see you in here. Carpenter is not subbing Tagir. I sure hope not. I sure hope not. Tagir and Almeida parlay feeding my bankroll. Yep, I like them both. Tagir will find the sub plus 275. It's a big number. It's a big number. Ricky Turcios very inconsistent between performances. Yeah, I think he's very, very inconsistent. We got Artem saying, let's make millions. Let's do it. Glimbot saying, Ricky, round 2 sub 35-1, round 3 sub 50-1. Do you know what I'm saying? Ricky sub 11-1. Glenn on the Ricky side. Yeah, if Sopaj has another cardio dump, anything can happen. But I think on a full camp, he should be fine. Sopaj double chance KO or decision. I don't mind that. Brady, have you had the stripper and keg party yet? Yeah, I already had it over the break. Carpenter sub was plus 2,100. Jeez. We got Mick D say, let's go, Brady. Let's get that cheddar. Let's do it. All right, let's keep moving on to the next fight. We got Rinya Nakamura going against Gafurov, and the parlay boys are hammering the Rinya money line minus 660 now, and we got Gafurov plus 485. And I had what I thought would be kind of a hot take this week, and judging by the line movement, it's not that much of a hot take, but I think Rinya Nakamura gets back to his finishing ways. People were very hyped on this guy, one of the best fighters probably the best fighter on road to UFC, a guy that I think has, a lot of upside. I think the hype has kind of died down a little bit, not being able to finish Fernie Garcia, not the best look, not being able to finish Carlos Vera, not the best look. But, against Gafurov has 6 losses. 5 of them are by decision, but went back and watched a lot of his fights, and this guy is getting dropped in a lot of those fights. He's getting hurt. Even Chad and Hellinger dropped him, and he got subbed in his only finished loss, and he does make mistakes on the mat, and he does slow down. So I think Rinya is going to get the finish here at some point. And yeah, I think Rinya needs to get a finish. I mean, he talked about it himself after that Carlos Vera fight, talked about how he was disappointed in that performance. And yeah, you should be finishing a guy like Carlos Vera. So for me, I'm going to take the fight. Doesn't go to decision here. It has moved a ton throughout the week, plus 128 here on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. And I think if Gafurov's winning this fight, I think it will be a finish. This guy throws with very bad intentions. I think it's going to be a fast-paced fight. So at plus money, I like the fight doesn't go, and I'm hoping Rinya can get that finish, get back on track here. Evan, what are you doing for this fight here?
Yeah, I could see it. I do think he's going to fuck up Gafurov. I'm going to pass, though. I just don't love the numbers. I know that he's saying he needs a finish. He wants to finish, I got to see it before I put faith in him getting finishes at the UFC level. I think he's a stud, great wrestler, obviously great cardio, elite athlete, but I don't know that he's going to get a finish. So I'm going to pass on this one.
All right, Evan using up his first pass. He has 2 left. I'm taking a shot on some violence. Hopefully Nakamura doesn't hurt me again, because I was on him inside the distance against Fernie, and that one stung. It was close, but just couldn't quite get out of there. Nakamura by Kimura, 50-1. I know Jesse Q's always on that Nakamura by Kimura. Hey, it rhymes.
I'll sprinkle that. That's
right.
It's a great number.
How awesome would that be? Nakamura by Kimura. Come on.
Love that.
Rinya into the distance, still plus 170-ish. Yeah, I don't mind that. I think there's going to be some opportunities. I think he probably drops Gafurov. Gafurov gets hurt and dropped a lot, and I think he's going to go for subs. The question is, can he finish? Can he finish? We'll have to see. I can see Gafurov gassing off from being wrestle-effed and Nakamura getting a sub late 2, round 3. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. I think it's going to be a hellacious pace. I think Gafurov's going to slow down, and I'm hoping Nakamura gets him out of there as the fight goes on. And yeah, that's a good point. If John Lineker couldn't finish Moine, how is Green Nakamura going to do it? Yeah, maybe it might be by sub, because you're right. John Lineker hits like a truck, and he wasn't able to knock him out. Brady, always make my day. Your breakdowns are legendary. Appreciate you, Forrest. Jeff saying Nakamura in the over 7.5 minutes, same game parlays, minus 195, holds a lot of value. Think he could find the finish late. I think that's a good look, especially considering he's like minus 660 on the money line. I don't mind that. All right, let's keep moving on to the next fight. It is Carol Rosa going against Eileen Perez. Really weird line movement on this one. So Carol Rosa was like minus 170 for weeks, and I think it was Monday night. All of a sudden, she went from minus 170 to minus 325. I'm like, what's going on? And currently, she's sitting at minus 245. Eileen Perez was at plus 145 for a couple weeks, went all the way to plus 270 at one point, and now she's back to plus 210. So, yeah, I think this is an interesting fight. A couple spots sticking out for me. Evan, how are you attacking this one here?
Yeah, this is another one where I do think the favorite gets it done here. I do like Carol Rosa. I acknowledge that she has some holes in the grappling. Obviously, if she gets put on her back, she's had some pretty bad minutes there on tape. But, Sarah McMahon is, far cry from Eileen Perez. I think that Perez is going to do what she does, which is try to get a body lock and muscle her to the ground. And maybe she does that once or twice, but she really lacks some control, like positional control. And, she's been swept by Jocelyn Edwards, Lucy Pudilova. She ends up on bottom a lot. So I kind of I'm going to take a flyer here on Carol by sub. Carol is a decent grappler, especially if she gets to top position. She doesn't proactively grapple much, but I think that this fight's, Eileen is going to force the grappling here. So I think if she covers this money line number, which I expect her to, there will be an opportunity for a submission at some point. So Rosa by sub plus 750. I'll go with that.
Yeah, we're kind of thinking the same here. For me, I'm kind of seeing this as, and there's a couple spots that stick out. First and foremost, I think that Carol Rosa as a live bet makes a ton of sense. I do think Perez, at least early on, should be able to use that strength, get on top, win some minutes. But What I worry about with Eileen Perez is a couple things. The first thing is the cardio. We've seen her slow down in fights, and we've seen her really slow down in some fights. Like the Pudilova fight, like Lucy Pudilova was like seconds away from finishing her. And then I don't think she's had to deal with a ton of resistance. Taking down Zelenikova, that's not hard to do. Taking down Jocelyn Edwards, same thing, not hard to do. But I think Carol Rosa is going to provide some resistance here. And then anytime we have seen her with some resistance, she hasn't looked great. Like the Pudilova fight, the Egger fight, she had to deal with some resistance, and Egger took her down and choked her out easily in the second round. So I think Carol Rosa, if she's ever going to get a finish in the UFC, she hasn't done it yet. She's been close. In that last fight against, I think it was Chienza, looks like she was on her way to getting the finish. She hasn't got it yet. If she's ever going to get a finish, I think it's going to be in this fight here. I don't know whether it's going to be sub or KO, but I do think if it happens, it's happening late as the fight goes on. It's happening when Eileen Perez starts to slow down. So I'm taking Carol Rosa round 2, round 3. The average between those two is plus 1650 on FanDuel, and that's what I'll go with, hoping for a Carol Rosa late finish there. And yeah, I'm personally picking a sub as well. So hopefully we both get on the board with some pretty big best bets here. Rosa has faced the better competition by an absolute mile. Rosa round 2 went from plus 1,400 to plus 1,100. Yeah, I know a lot of people are on those, and they make sense. Jeff sprinkled the round 3 as well. Glenn on the Rosa KO 10-1. Hopefully in a round 2, round 3. Yeah, I'm rooting for those round 2, round 3s. Eileen Perez over under 1.5 twerks. Well, if she's winning, the over is getting smashed there. But if she's losing, it's going to be hard to get there. Someone is getting finished. Fight doesn't go. Went from plus 300 to now plus 275. Money coming in on some potential violence, and I get it. Levels fight. Yeah, I think it's probably a levels fight. Eileen Perez has looked great, but against who? How do you count a twerk? Each rotation of the booty? I'm not sure. I think they have a guy, like a stats guy for that. Maybe we can hit up Wheezy. I don't know, but we'll have to see. All right, so yeah, Carol Rosa 2-3 for me. Evan's taken the Carol Rosa by submission. Moving on to the next fight, we got Grant Dawson going against Carlos Diego Ferreira. We got Grant Dawson minus 240. We have Carlos Diego Ferreira sitting as a plus 205 underdog. And this is an interesting one here for me. A spot I always look at for Grant Dawson is, those 2-3 props, because they just came through so many times. We got round 2 against Rafa Garcia the last time, round 3 against Mark Madsen, round 3 against Jared Gordon, round 3 against that one Leo Santa. Like, this guy comes through all the time with these 2-3 props. So I'm just going to go back to the well here. We've seen Carlos Diego Ferreira finished in round 2, round 3 before. I think that Grant Dawson's going to set a pace here that the 40-year-old Carlos Diego Ferreira is just not going to keep up with. I think it could look a little bit like the Gregor Gillespie fight, where there's a ton of fun scrambles early on. It's very competitive early on, but I think the pressure, the pace, the wrestling is eventually going to get to Carlos Diego Ferreira, and I think Dawson's going to break him down and finish them in that second or third round. So just like the Rosa fight, I am taking the Dawson 2-3 props. On average, comes out to plus 925 for Dawson round 2, round 3. And hoping he can get Diego Ferreira out of there late. So going with some more 2-3 props. Evan, how are you attacking this one?
I'm going to take the GTD. I believe it's like a pick'em. Minus 115 on Bet Online. Basically, I think that, I get the angle. Obviously, Carlos Diego Ferreira is 40 years old. He's ancient for fighting, but his jiu-jitsu is otherworldly. So I think that he would have to absolutely death gas in there, which is possible for sure. But, Dawson, maybe he does get the back a couple times, but I just think Carlos scrambles so well. I think Grant's going to have to really, really, really work in this fight. I think it goes to the cards, probably. I honestly think a no scorecards bet on Carlos might be a decent look. But I think that, I think there's a little bit of value on just all 3 rounds, 15-minute fight. I think Grant probably edges it, just, a little more top time, a little more control on the mat. But I think Carlos is kind of live. I'm just going to go GTD.
All right, Grant Dawson fight goes to decision for Evan. I'm taking a shot on those Grant Dawson 2-3 props right back to the well. Another spot I don't mind is I know they have those same game parlays like a Dawson in the over 1.5. I think that's a good look as well to get that Dawson price tag down because I absolutely don't think he's finishing Ferreira early. And if he does, I do think it'll be like an attritional type thing. Anything after the first is definitely Rosa. I would agree. Dawson wins a boring decision. He's done it before. We saw the Selecki fight was extremely boring. A couple other times as well. McD saying, I'm all over Dawson in this one by stoppage. Fight is not going to sprinkle on the fight. Ends in round 3. Ferreira is 40. Yikes. I believe his birthday's actually today. So happy birthday, Carlos Diego Ferreira, turning 40 years old, I believe, today. Diego had a horrible weight cut yesterday, could hardly step back off the scale and had to be helped down the stairs afterwards. It didn't look amazing. Diego 40 today. Yep. I believe 40 today. And Dawson has never been subbed. No, he has been knocked out in both of his losses. All right, let's keep moving on to this next fight. It is Bogdan Guskov going against Billy Elakana. Ton of money's came out on Guskov these last 24 hours. Currently sitting as a minus 450 favorite, which I never thought I'd see in the UFC, but here we are. Billy Elakana opened up plus 190, currently plus 350. I guess one thing to note is Elakana did come in very underweight. I think he weighed in like 200 pounds weigh-in day, so that was interesting. But Evan, what are you doing for this fight here?
Yeah, this fight's gross, man. I was really looking forward to the Johnny Walker fight, but what are you going to do? I could never, ever, ever bet Guskov at this number, so it's clearly dog or pass. I'm going to use my second pass here. Yeah, that's it. Short and sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is a disgusting, especially a disgusting line. Like, how can you ever lay this much chalk on Bogdan Guskov? And I'm with you. I wanted to see the Johnny Walker fight. Like, that fight would have been hilarious. Somebody would have gotten finished in very hilarious fashion.
Yeah.
We all would have got a laugh. It'd have been entertaining. But this fight, I don't know. I kind of think this fight could suck. I kind of think this fight could be slower paced, get extended a little bit. So I do have a best bet on this fight, and it's going to be a sweat, certainly, but I kind of like the over 1.5 rounds at plus 102. Elakana, I think he's a little low volume. I don't think he flashes a ton of power. I'm kind of hoping he can just hang in there for at least 7.5 minutes. Kind of think this fight gets extended a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that over 1.5. Don't love it because Guskov does throw with very bad intentions, but I think we get an extended fight in this one. So yeah, Evan using up his second pass. He has one left. I have 2 passes left there. Let's see here. Guskov looks like Anthony Smith. He sure does. He sure does. DC mentioned at the weigh-in show, Billy told him he wasn't training until he got the call for this fight. I heard that too. I heard Elakana hasn't trained in like a while, I heard. So yeah, not great. Not great. Billy money line plus 310, but Billy by decision plus 850. It's interesting. Yeah, a little interesting, but I don't really want to have a ton of action on this fight. Guskov by sub, heard it here first. Yeah, I believe he's like a brown belt. I haven't really seen much grappling from him, but he is a brown belt. Should be an easy KO. We shall see. We shall see. I thought the over 7.47 or I thought the over 4.75 would be nice, but Billy not being ready scares me. Yeah, that does scare me as well. He did come in underweight, and apparently the dude hasn't been training, which is not ideal. Certainly not ideal. All right, so is the featured prelim now the Reese Bakova fight? Do you know?
I believe it is.
Okay, so we'll do one more, then we'll do a recap of the prelim bet. So now we have Azamat Bakov going against Zachary Reese. We got Bakov minus 180, Zach Reese plus 155. Evan, what are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, this is a really, really tricky one, man. I think we kind of know how it's going to look, right? Bakov, he wants to get on top. You know, he's not a guy who's going to like actively look to pass or guard much, but he's a wrestler and he's going to, you know, Zach Reese is a tall guy. You can get under his hips, but he has good jiu-jitsu. So this is tricky, man. Like, I really want to take an over here or even a GTD, but it's a Zach Reese fight, you know, and it's like what I wouldn't be shocked if Reese just, throws up some meme sub in 90 seconds and that's a wrap. Who knows? This is a really, really tricky one. I'm going to take Reese's money line. Plus 165. Looks like it, or something like that. Plus 162, something like that. Reese is bigger, and I think he's the better athlete. And where I don't think he's going to compete in the wrestling, I think he'll be active enough off his back if he is stuck there at times. Whereas, obviously with the scoring criteria these days, I don't know that Azamat's style is really going to be rewarded heavily, especially on like a pay-per-view card like this. So I'm going to take Reese's money line. Yeah.
All right, Reese money line plus 165. So I did play the Reese money line as well, but for the show, I'm going to get a little bit more aggressive. I was surprised to see how like juicy these Zach Reese finish props are. I know he didn't finish Jose Medina, but prior to that, the dude finished all of his fights under 1.5. He's very dangerous. But yeah, Zach Reese inside the distance plus 295. I'm going to go with that. And yeah, I get why they have Makhachev here as the favorite. Like if he's coming in here on a full camp, he should be able to get takedowns. Zach Reese, non-existent takedown defense. Makhachev, in theory, could potentially win a decision on top for 15 minutes, but I don't think it's going to be that simple, especially with Makhachev coming in here on short notice. Already, I don't think having the best gas tank, and just wherever this fight goes, like Zach Reese is going to be very dangerous. On the feet, Reese looks 2 weight classes bigger. He has a ton of power. And then on the ground, yes, Makhachev can get takedowns and will get takedowns, but Reese has those long limbs. He's throwing up submissions nonstop. So just wherever the fight takes place, at any point in the fight, Reese is going to be dangerous here. So I like the Reese money line as well, but to be a little bit more aggressive, I'm just going to take the Reese inside the distance at plus 295. I think it's a wide line there for a guy that's very, very dangerous. Let's see. Zach Reese is going to kill this guy. I hope you're right, boys. I hope you're right. Looks like me and Evan are on the same thing here. Reese can also crack. Yeah, he can crack. Solid submission game as well. Makhachev shot a takedown at the face-off. Dude is going to shoot instantly. Yeah, I think he will. I think he will shoot pretty quickly, as he should. He is going to see that silly single leg takedown coming from a mile away and not locking a nasty gilly. Yeah, the sub prop on Zach Reese, I think is like plus 600, something like that. Justin saying half unit Reese by finish plus 275. Me like, yeah, I couldn't believe his finish props for that wide. All right, so yeah, we'll move on to the recap here. So we'll recap these fights we have so far. For me, I'm taking Tagir Ulanbekov by decision in the first fight of the card, minus 110. I'm passing on the Sopaj fight. Taking Nakamura Gafurov fight doesn't go to decision, plus 128. Taking Rosa round 2, round 3 on the average, plus 650 on FanDuel Sportsbook. Grant Dawson round 2, round 3, plus 925. Guskov, Elaka over 1.5 rounds, plus 102. And then Zach Reese inside the distance, plus 295 on Bet Rivers. Evan taking Tagir Ulanbekov by decision as well, minus 110. Taking Renato Sopaj by knockout, plus 380. Passing on the Nakamura fight. Taking Rosa by sub, plus 750. The Grant Dawson fight goes to decision, minus 115. Passing on the Guskov fight, and then taking Zach Reese money line, plus 165. Evan, does all that look correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and I have 2 passes left for the main card, and then Evan has 1 pass left for the main card. All right, moving on to the next fight. We have Peyton Talbott going against Raoni Barcelos. Peyton Talbott is now the second biggest favorite on the card, right behind Islam Makhachev. Peyton Talbott minus 1,100. Raoni Barcelos plus 725. And I'll kick this one off because I will be using a pass here. I think it's obviously Talbott is probably going to win the fight. He's probably going to get a knockout. I just wasn't able to find, something I really liked for the show. Does he knock him out early? Does he knock him out late? I'm not entirely sure. So I'm going to use up my second pass here, but I fully expect Talbott to get it done. Evan, what are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, I like Raoni Barcelos here, money line. So I think it's an insane number. I mean, you're talking about like 11, 12% implied probability to win the fight against Peyton Talbott. It's just crazy. Like, this is a big step up in competition. Raoni Barcelos is a guy who clearly has a grappling edge. I don't think that's up for debate. So a guy who has that type of path to victory, against, you know, an upstart, up-and-comer Peyton Talbott. I understand he's very dangerous. He looked like an absolute monster against Cameron Simon. This is a step up in competition. So there's no way to me Raoni Barcelos wins this fight only like 11 times if they fight 100 times. So I just think there's clear value. So I'm going to take his money line.
All right. Raoni Barcelos, money line plus 750 for Evan. And yeah, this is not Yanis Gamori here. I can assure you.
Yeah.
I can assure you that. So
Barcelos is going to compete, if nothing else. Whereas some of these guys didn't even compete with Peyton. So let's see what happens when he gets pushed.
Yep. I mean, you can't lay minus 1,000 on Peyton.
Right. So it's like, I'll take the other side.
Why not? Yeah. Let's see here. Fight goes to decision for the Talbott Barcelos fight. Yeah, fight goes. It is a big plus money number if you think that Barcelos can hang in there for 15. What do you think of the over 1.5 in the Talbott fight? I don't mind it. Looks like minus 150, minus 160. Evan, any thoughts on that over?
I like it. I like it a lot. I might play it.
So yeah, I don't mind the over as well. You know, Talbott, prior to that Cameron Simon fight, all of his wins came over. And then prior to that Yanis Gamori fight, all of his fights, all of his wins came after round 2.
And Barcelos has only been knocked out once.
Yep.
He's not I mean, there's some durability questions, but I don't think he's like the chinniest guy in the world.
Yeah, he's a lot less chinny than Yanis Gamori, that's for dang sure.
Yeah.
We got Aussie Fight Fan. What is up? Talbot 2-3 plus 300 for round 2, plus 400 for round 3. Just not enticing enough for me personally. So I'm going to sit back and watch this one. All right, let's move on to this next fight. We have the people's main event. Is this the Twitter civil war of the week? We have a lot of people very passionate on both sides. We got Renato Ritter, who is actually an underdog, opened at plus 140, currently minus 125. Kevin Holland opened up minus 160, currently plus 105. So this is one that I really struggle with personally because I just don't have any faith in either one of these guys. I don't have faith in the fight IQ of Kevin Holland. This guy has, you know, pound for pound, the worst fight IQ in UFC history even. And then as far as the Ritter, don't think he has the best striking. I don't think he has the best cardio. But there is a spot that sticks out. First and foremost, I don't mind some violence here. I think that if RDR gets Holland down early on, really at any point in the fight, I think he's going to be live for a submission. And if he's not able to get that grappling going, I just think Kevin Holland's going to have a massive advantage on the feet. But there was a prop that did stick out, and that's the Ritter by submission, plus 325. I think it's going to be live. He's going to get takedowns here. He's going to get on top. He has a ton of subs on his record. So I'll take the Ritter by submission, plus 325. In terms of a money line, I think the value at this point is probably on Kevin Holland, but I just can't trust the dudes. Yeah, the Ritter by sub is the one spot I'll go with. Evan, what are you doing for this fight here?
Yeah, Brady, I echo your sentiments on this fight. This fight is another fight to me where trying to cap it, I just get grossed out. Like Renato de Ritter looked so bad against GM3. That fight was just two sloths like flailing hooks at each other and falling over. So Holland's obviously the much better athlete here, but I rarely ever even consider betting Kevin Holland unless he's like a big underdog. So this is just not for me. I'm passing. This is my third pass.
Yep. Hey, and that's probably the smart thing. I mean, how can you trust either?
I'll get a migraine if I like think too much about this fight.
Oh, it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
It's gross.
I mean, I agree, but Kevin Holland, you know, the fight IQ, it's tough. It's tough. My last time betting Holland, if he loses to this guy, I think I've said that way too many times. This is my last time betting Kevin Holland. Oh, it just happened so many times. Holland round 2, round 3. Yeah, those could be live. Shout out to Gabe Yo for the $4.99. Appreciate you, Gabe. Thank you for stopping by and for the dono. Paul saying Kevin Holland has no heart. He quits when the going gets tough and pretends like he didn't want to try anyway. Kevin just said in the DJ interview he doesn't care about being the best. It's hard to trust. Yeah, he's one of those guys that doesn't care about being the best, doesn't care about the title, nothing like that. Tagir is about to get. You think Clayton Carver's knocking out Tagir? That'd be a shock. That'd be a shock. This is a 100 gambler fight. Yeah, I would tend to agree. DeRitter is just way too big for Holland at 185. It might be over after one takedown. It might be. It might be. We'll have to see. But yeah, it should be an interesting fight nonetheless. Speaking of interesting fights, I think this one's going to be pretty interesting here. We got Jailton Almeida going against Sergey Spivak. Jailton Almeida now a minus 500 favorite. Sergey Spivak sitting at plus 375. We'll kick it to you, Evan. What are you doing for this heavyweight fight?
Yeah, I like Almeida here. His money line is out of hand, so I definitely want to take a method of victory. I'm going to take Almeida by knockout. Let's see what we got here, some numbers. So let's see. Almeida by sub is plus 135. I don't think Spivak's ever been subbed. Spivak's a guy who, like, if things aren't going his way, I think he'll just fold and just, like, turtle up and get it, knocked out, TKO stoppage. And Almeida's not a guy who's really going to knock a ton of people out, but I think the difference in numbers is why I'm going to take it. Plus 225? Is that the number on knockout? Yeah.
295 on BetRivers.
Yeah, give me that. Give me that. I just think I don't know. I wish it was better, but that's how I'm going to play this fight.
Yeah, I'm actually right there with you. This is a spot I like quite a bit this week. I can just see it so clearly in my head. Jailton Almeida, he takes down Spivak in the first 10 seconds. He gets into mount instantly, and then he just starts pounding away, and Spivak quits. I'm worried about Sergey Spivak. I'm worried about the fact that he came in and weighed in at like low 230s. Like, you would think you want to be a lot bigger against a guy like Jailton Almeida, a former light heavyweight. And the other thing with Spivak is this is a guy that's actually came out and admitted to not training for fights in the past. Obviously, there was that short notice Aspinall fight where we maybe give him a pass, but he said that he wasn't training for the Cyril Gane fight either. I have a feeling he wasn't training for this fight either. I'm getting those vibes from Sergey Spivak, showing up for a paycheck type vibe. So I think Jailton Almeida takes him down, and I think it's going to be over shortly after. The question is it a sub? Is it a TKO? I'm leaning that ground and pound. So I'm going to go with Jailton Almeida by first round KO plus 650. Evan on the KO as well at plus 295. I think it's some GNP. I think Spivak covers up, and I think the ref steps in and saves. And I think we get a quitter here in Sergey Spivak. But yeah, I like Almeida quite a bit. It's a shame he's minus 500, but that's kind of the way I'm playing it there. I think he goes out there and makes this look quite easy. Spivak by KO odds. Spivak by KO. I think I saw like plus 800, something like that for Spivak, which if he can get on top of Jailton, we've seen Jailton get knocked out before. So dude's a good wrestler. Yeah, he's a good hammer. He's just a really bad nail. Glenn got the under 1.5. Jailton Spivak plus 1. Yeah, got a great number there. I like that under. Almeida versus Spivak is definitely not a 100 gambler fight. Almeida's going to roll him over. Old man Olenek took down Spivak. What do you think, Almeida? Yeah, I did not like how Spivak looked in that old man Olenek fight. Olenek was able to get into mount instantly, and instead of landing ground and pound, he went for the scarf hold and almost got him with that scarf hold. Jason taking a shot on Spivak. I don't love it, but Almeida has dropped the ball before. But it was against Curtis Blades, though. And then Jailton by lay and pray decision. I sure hope not. Okay, moving on to the next fight. It is Jamal Hill going against Yuri Prochazka. We got Jamal Hill minus 123, Yuri Prochazka plus 103. So I like this fight from a fan perspective. From a betting perspective, though, not so much. There's not a ton sticking out. But I was looking into this fight, and something I noticed was with Yuri Prochazka, every first round he's kind of taking his time in there. Kind of a feeling out process. And then once the second round hits, Yuri Prochazka just throws all technique out the window, all game planning out the window. He turns into a complete madman. He marches forward, no striking defense, killer be killed style. And what that leads to is the fight ending in the second round. Yuri Prochazka has 5 fights that have ended in the second round out of 6 fights. The one that did not end in the second round was the 5-round Glover Teixeira fight. But yeah, 5 fights ending in the second round. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to say the fight ends in round 2. I think early on, slower paced fight. But I think once that second round hits, Yuri's going to say F it and just go complete berserk. So I like fight ends round 2 plus 300. I think this fight does finish at some point. but I'm hoping it's in the second round there. Evan, what are you doing for this fight?
Yeah, this is a tough one, man. I'm definitely rooting for Yuri Prochazka. This is a weird one because both guys have had multiple injuries and like pretty high profile injuries. Like Yuri Prochazka had that, like, his shoulder got all fucked up. Jamal Hill torn Achilles. Like those are the big ones. And then they've had other ones, and Jamal Hill like blows up in between fights. He gets these injuries and, he walks around at like 260. I have a feeling this fight's going to look not that great. I have a feeling these guys are going to look a little plodding, a little slow. I think these are two guys that are going to, loot, like their athleticism, I think is already going to start regressing. And that's just me trying to, get out in front of what what we've seen so far. So I'm going to take the over 1.5 minus 140 on Bet Online. Yuri Prochazka has talked a lot about improving his striking defense. The hands down thing is cute and all, but you can't keep running into shots the way this guy does. And Jamal Hill is a good boxer. So I definitely think that both these guys, they both need a win. They both, have been through the ringer with respect to injuries. I think that pay-per-view, big cage, there's going to be a feeling out process. Give me the over 1.5.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Over 1.5 minus 140. And yeah, Jerry did talk about finally like 40 fights into his career. He thinks that, hey, probably should put my hands up. I think 40 fights in, I finally realized that. I
am rooting for him, man. His fan that he brought up to I love that shit. I think he's a really, really good dude. So I do hope he pulls it out.
Oh yeah, that was great. So yeah, that should be a fun. I can't wait for that fight. Hill by KO. Hill 1 and 2 KO safer than 2-3. I don't know when this fight's going to finish. Personally, I think like anything can happen. I do lean round 2 because that's typically when Yuri's fights do finish. But who knows? This is the fight that I don't have a great read on. Kevin on so many dogs. Woof. What dogs you liking, Kevin? Hill looks to be in the best shape of his career. Yeah, he looks in a lot better shape than he did in the Alex Pereira fight. That's for sure. Going about tailing Aussie with the Yuri sub 15-1, big number there. I got Yuri by flying, spinning heel kick. There you go. Stani liking the re. I don't mind the over. Don't mind the over. Over 1.5 rounds is money. Yuri fighting with his hands up. I don't see it going well. It's going to be interesting to see him fighting with his hands up now. It's going to be very interesting. De Ritter will destroy Holland. Well, hopefully he destroys him by submission there. What about Tagir? We are both liking Tagir by decision. All right. We will keep moving on to the co-main event. We got Umar Nurmagomedov going against Merab Dvalishvili, and I'm going to kick this one off. I have one pass left, and I'm going to be using it on this fight. There is a spot that I kind of don't mind. I think this line is wide here. I think Merab definitely can make this competitive, but in terms of a best bet, not a ton really sticking out for me. So I'm going to use it my third and final pass because there is a spot I do like on the main event that I'll give. Evan, what are you doing for this co-main event?
Yeah, so this is an actual bet of mine. I have Merab. I think the number is not accurate. I think this is like a 50-50 fight. I just think that Merab is going to be, he's not an easy guy to handle. And this number suggests that Umar is just going to come in there, take him down, take his back, have his way with him. I just don't know that that's accurate. Maybe Umar, blitzes with something on the feet and hurts him on the feet. Obviously Merab has been hurt, but Merab is built different. I don't know why. I think the line's a little disrespectful is what I'm trying to say here. So give me the champ at, plus 215. I got a little bit of a better price than that in real life, but I still think there's plenty of value on that. I think it's a 50-50 fight. I'm acknowledging how good Umar is, but, aside from the Corey Sandhagen fight where Corey was competing really well early, he just couldn't get off his back. And then over time, he just said, fuck this. I'm not, I'm working so hard to compete that, it sucked that round 5. He just spent the whole round on his back pretty much. But I think Merab would do the same thing to him. So I don't know. I think it's crazy. I think the number's crazy. So Merab money line. really rooting for him too. I hope he gets it done.
Yep. No, I agree. I think it's a wide line. I think this fight's going to look a lot closer than the line indicates. The only thing holding me back is these crooked, corrupt judges. Kind of scare me a little bit because Merab's path would be that decision, and if it's close, I'm kind of worried to give it to the undefeated Russian. But yeah, I think there's a ton of value on Merab. The line has closed up throughout the week. He was plus 250. Now he's plus 215. So
do you think all the Dagestanis are going to win? Like a sweep, Dagestani sweep, like we like Tagir.
So. Tagir.
I assume we think we're picking Islam, right? Yeah. I don't. I feel like one of them's not going to win. I think it's Umar.
Could be. I don't have action on the fight, but I do think there's some value on Merab. I just think it's going to look a lot closer than the plus 215 indicates there. 6 p.m. Eastern time is criminal. Yep. Fight starting about an hour 15. Umar by KO 8-1. Merab by decision. If I was to bet Merab, I'd probably just take the money line because the decision prop is pretty much around the money line. I think Merab sucks. Pillow hit. Merab does not suck. Come on, man. Merab does not suck. Jason saying Umar by decision or sub. How about this parlay? Tagir, Sopaj, Perez, Guskov, Zach Reese, Charlton, Umar, Islam, Hill, Jiri fight does not go the distance. That's a big parlay there. I do agree with most there, Vivek, but it's a big parlay. Going to be tough to hit all those legs. Oh boy, we got Sal D'Amato's scorecard in the building. The fix is in. I've already been paid off. I can see that. It's kind of the one thing that's scaring me. All right. Let us move on to the main event. Before we do so, we have 655 of you guys here hanging out. If you guys all could, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, we go live every Saturday, 2 hours prior to these prelims. And we have Islam Makhachev going against Renato Moicano. Islam opened up minus 800 on BetOnline, or not minus 900 maybe. Currently sitting at minus 1,500. Moicano currently sitting as a plus 900 underdog, which makes Islam one of the biggest favorites in UFC history. So yeah, wide line here on Islam. Evan, are you taking the dog shot on Moicano, or is there something else you like here?
I'm taking Moicano. Plus 900. I'm not taking him to win the fight. It's just numbers, man. It's just numbers. I think weird shit happens. You know, I tweeted out the Matt Serra versus GSP highlight the other day. I just think plus 900. Moicano's a good fighter. I didn't really like Islam's energy this week. I didn't really like the way he looked at weigh-ins. Who the fuck knows, man? He could slip on a banana peel and, get injured in the fight, get cut. There's shit happens. I just don't think the number could be right. I think Islam wins the fight 80% of the time. So I think there's value on Moicano. I also like the over 2.5, like plus 160. I think Moicano is going to, compete a little bit at least. So what do I want to take here officially? I'm going to take the over 2.5. Over 2.5. It might be a bit of a sweat, but I think Moicano can survive here. I think he trained hard for the Dariush fight. He's got good jiu-jitsu. I think he can survive a bit. That's what I'm going to go with. Over 2.5. What about you?
All right. Over 2.5 for the main event. Yeah. Yeah, these odds are wild. I was not expecting Islam to get up to minus 1,500. That's for sure. Because I do see a lot of people taking that dog shot on Moicano. For me, though, I'm just going to go with Islam on FanDuel. They have the Islam KO props. The 2-3-4 knockout prop is plus 440. That's kind of how I'm seeing the fight play out. I'm not sure that Islam is going to go out there and just submit Renato Moicano that easily. I kind of think he could potentially drop him on the feet. Could be a potential TKO. So I think that KO prop and those 2-3-4 KO numbers are solid. I'll go with that. Islam to win by KO in rounds 2, 3, or 4 on FanDuel Sportsbook, plus 440. That's kind of how I'm seeing it there. And Evan taking the over 2.5 at plus 160. What do you guys like it for the main event? I've seen a lot of people on Moicano, which if Moicano wins, these are some massive numbers on him. Kevin saying the Ritter 2 units, best of luck. Best of luck. $100 on Moicano, return $0. We shall see. Makhachev, round 1, round 2 finish. Moicano with the rear naked choke. If Islam does not finish here, I'm poor for all of 2025. Oh boy, be careful. George saying the under 2.5 rounds. Curtis saying has the over 1.5 rounds, minus 150. How confident are you that Perez? Me? I don't think Perez wins at all. So I'd say 0, I guess, because I'm not picking her to win. Moicano by decision plus 3,000. Jeez. We got Monk saying, "Chee wee wees." What is up, Monk? Good to see you. Makhachev could easily sub Moicano. We shall see. I do lean KO though. I do lean KO. Nice plus 440. I do like it. I do like it myself. Perez over at 1.5 Turos could be worth a shot. Moicano is definitely not subbing Islam. We shall see. All right. What we're going to do now is we're going to recap the best bets for UFC 311, and then we're going to give our best bet on the entire card. Last week, my best bet was Fatima Klein inside the distance. That came through. This week, we'll see. So we already recapped the prelims. We'll start with the Talbott fight here. So I am passing on the Peyton Talbott fight. I'm taking De Ridder by submission plus 325. Jonathan Almeida KO1 plus 650. The Hill Prochazka fight to end in round 2 plus 300. I'm passing on the Umar Nurmagomedov fight, and then I'm taking Islam to win by KO in rounds 2, 3, or 4. In terms of my best bet for the card, I will go with that main event, the Islam KO in rounds 2, 3, or 4 to win 8.8 units. So, Evan, you are passing. You're taking Jaime Barcelos on the money line plus 750. You're passing on the Holland fight. You're taking Jonathan Almeida by knockout plus 295. You're taking Hill Prochazka over 1.5 rounds minus 140. You're taking the Merab Dvalishvili money line plus 215. And then you're taking Islam Makhachev, Renato Moicano over 2.5 rounds plus 160. Does all that look correct? And if so, what is your best bet for UFC 311? What do you want to double up here?
Yeah, it looks good to me. I'm going to go with my best bet is Jaime Barcelos money line. Let's go. There'll be a big chunk of change right there if we could double that up. And I like it. So let's go.
There we go. Jaime Barcelos money line to win 15 units there for Evan. Should be a good one there. But yeah, guys, thank you all so much for hanging out. I'm going to kick it to Evan. Evan, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, just follow me on Twitter, Evan_UFC. That's it. That'd be great. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like and subscribe, share the video, and let's cash some tickets. Let's fucking go.
Let's do it. We'll be back in 2 weeks. We have a week off, and then I think we have like just a long stretch of cards week after week after that. So be sure to tune in 2 weeks. We'll be right back after it. Alex saying, Brady, can you give me a couple good DFS underdogs this slate as well? It's tough from a DraftKings perspective, especially after losing Dariush as a dog. But I think Barcelos is like I think he's like 6,300.
It's insane.
So if you get Barcelos, you can build any lineup you want. I think that Merab at 7K is probably at this point my favorite dog on the card. So we'll see. Appreciate you guys. See you, Alexander. Good game. All right, guys. Best of luck, everybody, for UFC 311. Enjoy the fights, and we'll talk to you soon.